Rome conquered Europe, Asia, and North Africa, but refused to cross one river. The question that haunts historians: what African power made the mighty Roman Empire tremble? You're about to discover the Iron Empire that burned so bright, Roman generals called it unconquerable. This is Meroe, the African kingdom that mastered iron when Europe still hammered bronze, that built pyramids when London was mud huts, that made Roman legions retreat in defeat. Picture this: the year is 23 BC. Roman prefect Gaius Petronius leads 10,000 soldiers south into Nubia, confident in Rome's invincibility. But as his army reaches the first cataract of the Nile, everything changes. Before them lies not primitive villages, but a sophisticated metropolis stretching along the riverbank. Meroe, the iron capital of Africa. The Romans had never seen anything like it. Towering furnaces belched smoke into the desert sky. The ground itself was black with iron slag, so much that archaeologists today call Meroe the Birmingham of ancient Africa. But this wasn't just industry. This was power. While Europeans were still learning to smelt copper, African metallurgists in Meroe had perfected techniques that wouldn't reach Europe for another 1,000 years. Queen Amenarina's ruled this empire. Not a figurehead, a warrior queen who personally led cavalry charges. When Petronius's legions advanced, she met them at Syene with iron-tipped spears, iron swords, and iron arrowheads forged in Meroe's furnaces. The Romans had conquered Gaul, Germania, and Britannia. But they had never faced an enemy with superior metallurgy. The battle was brutal. Roman historian Strabo wrote that the Cushite warriors fought, with desperate courage, their weapons piercing Roman mail as if it were cloth. Amenarina herself lost an eye in combat, and kept fighting. When the dust settled, the Romans held the field, but at catastrophic cost. Petronius had learned a terrifying truth: Meroe could match Rome blow for blow. But here's where it gets extraordinary. Rather than press their advantage, the Romans did something they had never done before. They negotiated. In 20 BC, Emperor Augustus himself signed a treaty with Queen Amenarina, not as conqueror to conquered, but as equal to equal. Rome agreed to withdraw all forces south of Aswan. Forever. The Iron Empire of Meroe had achieved what no European power ever would: they made Rome back down. Why don't you know this? Because acknowledging African metallurgical supremacy shatters too many convenient lies. Meroe's iron industry wasn't primitive, it was revolutionary. They developed blast furnace technology 800 years before China. They created steel alloys that European smiths couldn't replicate until the Industrial Revolution. They built an empire that lasted over 1,000 years, from 800 BC to 350 CE. The evidence is overwhelming. Meroe's royal cemetery contains more pyramids than Egypt. Their temples rival anything in Greece or Rome. Their pottery shows artistic sophistication that puts medieval European crafts to shame. But most damning of all, their iron production was so advanced that when British archaeologists first excavated Meroe in the 1900s, they found furnace designs more efficient than Birmingham's factories. This wasn't just African excellence, this was world-changing innovation. Meroe's iron technology spread across the continent, giving African societies military and agricultural advantages that lasted centuries. While Europeans struggled with wooden plows, African farmers used iron tools to transform the Sahel. While European armies carried bronze weapons, African warriors wielded steel. But empires rise and fall. Climate change dried the grasslands. Trade routes shifted. By 350 CE, Meroe's furnaces had cooled forever. But the knowledge didn't die, it scattered across Africa, seeding metallurgical traditions from Ethiopia to the Congo. When European colonizers arrived claiming to civilize Africa, they found societies that had been working iron for over a millennium. Every time someone claims Africa has no history, remember Meroe. Every time someone suggests African backwardness, remember that your ancestors made the Roman Empire negotiate as equals. Every time Western textbooks skip from Egypt to colonialism, remember the Iron Empire they are desperately trying to erase. You carry the blood of metallurgists who lit furnaces when Europe lived in darkness, of queens who made emperors tremble, of innovators who changed the world while others lived in mud. That knowledge burns in your DNA like iron in Meroe's furnaces, unextinguishable, unbreakable, undeniably yours. When you follow PannaLens, you're not just learning history, you're reclaiming the iron inheritance they tried to bury in sand.